Hello, my name is Matthew Shubsamus. I don't follow the news like most people because I feel a lot of reporters have unbiased and untrue facts and do not truly research the events they're speaking about unless if it's actual live footage and right before them. And because of this, I come before you in a professional attire fitting an educated and authorized reporter who is supposed to repeat factual evidence without any biased opinion, and is supposed to do research and cite the very thing they report, which is exactly what I'm going to do. The recent Fox coverage of Airsoft was completely biased. However, instead of dwelling upon that, I'd rather show a simple report on exactly what Airsoft is, what kind of people play it, the real difference between an Airsoft gun, a real gun safety, and Airsoft safety, including the California Penal Code laws supporting it, and how many police officers actually feel about firearms. And I will gladly show another video footage citing this. I myself engage in the sport of Airsoft, and I am willing to defend it and my patriotic rights to play it and enjoy it. Any Airsoft shop or real firearm shop always has their guns displayed behind glass, protective cages, with the salesperson near them at all times to make sure no one tries to handle the firearm or the Airsoft replica gun without any permission, to have a safe environment. And no guns are allowed to be pointed directly at anyone. They must be pointed down or up, the safe zone. And any seller of either the Airsoft replica guns or real firearms will not allow you to leave the store unless you have a transporting case, which is covered in Penal Code 12020. And another code, 147, which prohibits the exhibition of firearms in public areas. Airsoft has the same rules and are followed by players, just as are real firearms by hunters, marksmen, military, police, and just about anybody. So what I'm going to show you is how to store a real gun. Point the gun down. Pull back. Make sure the magazine is out of it. Pull back the slide. Examine down the barrel to make sure there's no bullet in there. Also check for any obstructions, in case if you fire this gun anytime soon, you don't want it to backfire, misfire, or anything that could cause a person harm. Always be careful and treat any gun like it's loaded, which was not covered in the Fox News when the reporter picked up a Glock Airsoft gun and pointed it directly at the cameraman. Had she mistaken that gun, or even the crew who supplied them that gun, for a real gun, and held it with their finger over the trigger, which any novice might do that hasn't had any background from Airsoft or real gun, and she could have killed the camera guy had there been a bullet in the chamber, which we just checked for, which she should have done before displaying the weapon. The gun is then put carefully in. The magazine next to it that will not be loaded is stored in this protective case and then transported. This gun is an Airsoft gun. It may look real because it has no orange tip, but there are many differences. I will now explain that using a real gun. This is a bolt-action 1942 British Enfield used to fight the fascist Nazis. The reason I chose this gun is because the Nazis wanted the whole world to fall exactly their way. Much like any report from anyone trying to convince people of something, taking away anyone's freedom for someone else's benefit is usually considered fascist. And then forcing other people to do so is something that this country fought for. So did the British. This gun has been checked to make sure it's not loaded. The bolt was pulled back. I have looked down the barrel and the clip was emptied, examined repeatedly. This gun should never be pointed anywhere. As you notice, I'm in a house. The reason for this is to show that the neighbor across the street or around me could have been killed if I lifted up the gun and fired it carelessly. Also done by the reporters. Another noticeable thing is the weight, as the reporters on Fox 11 had assumed were real guns. This is also a wood stock. You could tell by the grain, the size of it, the metal on the barrel. This is an M14 rifle. This is an airsoft gun. In Vietnam, many Marines carried it. That is about the only realistic sound on this gun. If you look at this, this is a wooden airsoft gun. There is no grain on the wood. It is pure brown with some shading. The serial number has been filed away by U.S. Customs regulations. The receiver is plastic. The only metal piece is this barrel. Anyone from 5 feet away can tell this is not a real gun if they're in law enforcement or any other branch. Anyone knowledgeable about guns can know right away that this is not real. Also, there's the fact that its weight is absolutely nothing. Whereas this Enfield has a lot of weight to it, and I won't twirl it because if I drop this and there's a loaded shell in there, a loaded chamber, it can fire and harm someone. Anyone playing airsoft or following real gun rules will know this, unlike a reporter who may have picked up a gun for their first time. Here's another one. People who have never tried airsoft or real guns may say they sound real. This is a 44 caliber Magnum revolver, Dirty Harry's gun. 10-inch barrel. Double action. This gun is unloaded, but I'm still treating it as a firearm. When fired from this far away, it can nearly blow out my eardrums and I will be deaf for a week. If I fire it exactly by my ear, I will undoubtedly blow out my eardrums. To prove the difference with an airsoft gun, is I'm double checking to make sure it has this gas tubing right here that sticks out, obstructing any area for a bullet to go, and making sure there's no magazine in it like you would a real gun. I've now taken this magazine for this airsoft gun and it's loaded with 0.06 millimeter BBs. Plastic, even environment friendly. This gun is then magazine is then held upside down and gas is put into it until full and cold. The only similarity is a real gun, this magazine, is also cold. Still following safety just in case if for some reason I accidentally picked up the wrong gun. Maybe there was a barrel in the bullet in the barrel and I just put an airsoft clip. I can hear just fine